In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 of the most basic variables that you can change to get different sound when using a pick. The first variable you have is choosing the type of pick that you're going to use. Now there's thousands of different types of picks that are on the market today. When you choose a different type of pick, you should choose one that you're comfortable playing with and that's going to give you the sound you want to produce on your guitar. And so there's plastic picks, thin and thick picks, picks of all different types of materials. And what you should do if you're just starting out using a pick is basically experiment with all the different kinds of picks. You're going to want to go to the store and try out different types of picks. Don't get too comfortable with one particular type of pick over another. You'll be missing out on all the different variables that you'll have at your disposal and all the knowledge you can gather from using all the different types of picks. You'll see that some picks offer different advantages in your hand too. Some have textures on them that make them easier to grip. Some picks have a powdered coating that makes it easy to grip as well. You'll see that the different angles that the picks come in will change the tone on your strings. The materials will have a durability factor. In other words, some picks are made of cheap plastic, and if they're too flexible, they'll be breaking all the time on you. You'll have to get a new pick. While other picks are thicker and they'll last a lot longer. I've had certain picks last for several months. There are a couple different picks that I use. I like to use these thick picks the most. These are 2mm picks, according to what it says on there. And I use these quite a bit for playing. And I prefer those thicker ones. And then we have a thinner pick here that I use sometimes for strumming. If I want to get like a nice cleaner picking sound, use a thinner pick. This is a 1mm pick. It's pretty flexible, but it gives you a different tone when you use this kind of pick versus the thicker types of picks. Here's some examples of different sounds you get with different kinds of picks. This is a thin pick right here, and I'll just strum a chord with the pick. Now if you pay attention to the sound you hear when the pick hits the strings, you hear like a little clicking. And that's part of the characteristic of that pick. Now here's a thicker pick. Okay, this one's a little worn out, but it's a thick plastic pick. I'll strum the same chord. You can hear the difference. Now you can also hear the difference when you pick individual notes, like now here's the thick pick. You can hear how much softer it was. The attack sounds different. Versus. The second variable that you can change when picking is the angle of attack. So typically, when people are taught how to use a pick, they're taught to keep the pick kind of perpendicular to the string. But you can vary that angle. So if you tip your thumb down a little bit and put the pick more on an angle, you'll be approaching the string that way, and it's going to reflect in the sound. The pick is going to be making contact with the string for a longer period of time, and you can hear how that sound changes when the angle changes, and you can hear the windings on the strings grinding against the pick. And a little bit less, back to normal. You can hear that sound change. Same goes for when you're strumming. So strumming straight, sound like that, adding a lot of angle. Now if I switch back to the thin pick, you can see the difference too. That was straight, now with a little angle. The third variable is where you do your picking. So there's a couple factors that play into this. Number one is considering the sound. If you're just going all for sound, you play where you're going to get the sound that you're desiring to get. Or comfort. Now, usually when you put your arms on the guitar, your hand typically goes over one place. Now my hand tends to go more towards the back of the hole here when I pick. That's my comfortable playing position. Now if I wanted to change where I pick, I would have to make a conscious decision to do that. So if I want to pick up near the hole or over the hole, you can hear it gets like a rounded sound. Now if you go back towards the bridge, you can hear the difference. It's a much tinnier sound back here towards the bridge. Now if you move way up, you can pick over your fretboard basically. You get a much more rounded sound. If you want to pick even up over here, over the frets, you just have to be aware when your pick goes in and hits the strings, you might hit that fretboard and you'll be making some extra noise there. So be careful for that. So if I pick up here over the hole with this thin pick, it sounds like this. Now if I go back towards the bridge and do the same picking, you can hear the difference. It's a big difference. And then back to my comfortable playing position, which is here. It's kind of a mixture. So over the hole again. More of a rounded tone. Back here. A lot tinnier, higher, more penetrating note sounds. A lot of people prefer that sound. It does sound good. This also sounds good. So it just depends on what you're going for. This table shows some of the sounds you can achieve by altering just two of the variables that I spoke about earlier. So on this side we have the angle of attack of your pick. So if you have a flat pick, a medium angle, or you pick on a steep angle, it's going to give you different sounds. And then your picking position. So do you pick close to the bridge, in the middle, closer to the hole, or closer to the neck? It's going to give you a different tone. Picking position controls generally the tone, and the angle of attack controls the characteristic sound that comes out of the note. So you can see here, by putting this into a table, you get 9 different options right off the bat. So if you pick close to the bridge with a steep angle, you're going to get a tinny tone with a rough type of characteristic sound to it. And you can try all these for yourself. These are just adjectives that I came up with, but you can see that the sound will change depending on how you change these different characteristics. So the other example is if you go close to the bridge again, you'll get a tinny tone, but if you have a flat picking style, you're going to get a sharp characteristic with that. And the opposite end here, you have playing up by the neck, you get mellower tones and different characteristics depending on that steepness of the angle. So you can see this table here shows 9 different varieties of sound that you can get just from these two variables, the angle and the picking position. Now if you take this table and multiply it by the different types of picks that are out there, you get even more sounds. So if you took 2 picks, just the basic hard pick and soft pick, you'd get 18 choices, because this table could apply to both a soft pick and a hard pick. So you can see the multiples of what you can do just with simple picking choices. Gives you a whole world of different flavors that you can put on your playing just by thinking about what you can do with your different picks and picking variables.